How's it going, everybody? So, by far the most requested video, at least in my Discord, has been one about Pirate. I can only assume that this is a trolling attempt, since most of you know that I really dislike Pirate. Not in the sense the community dislikes her, but I simply do not enjoy playing her, at all. So, getting this B-roll footage was pure torture. And we're also approaching this a little differently today. We're not going to do the usual breakdown of why a character is weak or strong. Well, we'll do that a little bit, but I want to focus on the why today. So no real balanced discussion today, but a closer look at video game politics, so to speak. And why a community that throws tantrums like a little toddler has more of an influence on this than they think. And what better character to pick here than Pirate? The most hated hero this community currently has, probably even surpassing the hate Griffin received when he released. Pirate was just on a whole different level. Everything about her was complained about. The moveset, the properties, the aesthetics. Good lord, how dare she be a woman? More on that topic in just a bit. Was the hate on release completely unjustified? Nah, far from it. She released with quite a few issues. Wall infinites, confirmed dead-angled attacks, and other atrocities. She was far from perfect, but she was really strong at the same time. But this also isn't anything new. We've had heroes released too strong in the past. You'd think that by now everyone would be used to it. What you did have though were two of the most hated properties, hyper armor and dodge recovery cancels. If your character has these, there's a good chance you'll be hated by some parts of the community. So from the get-go it was inevitable that there will be backlash about Pirate. And anything but the removal of these properties will do fuck all about silencing those complaints. We can see it right now. The character has received countless nerfs and is in a questionable state, to put it nicely. Like, all the tier lists for 1s and 4s rate her low. The only game mode she can still somewhat compete in is Brawls. Yet nothing changed when it comes to the perception from the community. Pirate is as hated as ever. She's not played as much as back then, so people naturally forget about her. You know how gamer brains work. But to get to this state, she had to take countless nerfs. Many of those didn't make much sense, others were desperately needed. But none of them actually fixed the perception that the community had of the character. The reasons for this are manifold. For one, it's hard to change a first impression. The monkey dodge attack meme still sticks with Griffin. The Lawbringer is bad nonsense is still stuck with Lawbringer, despite that not being the case for almost 7 years now. Once people have made up their mind, it's hard to change it, especially when that person never engages with any outside information to begin with. How are you supposed to reach them? They don't read patch notes. They aren't mentally capable to see the changes in-game themselves. All they do is perpetuate what they knew from the beginning. Yet, the biggest problem is not even the balance aspect. It's all the other things surrounding the hero. When people heard Pirate, they had a very clear image in their mind. They knew exactly what they wanted from it, had a clear vision of what fashion they would pick, what beard they would wear, and so on. And then here she is, a Chinese woman instead. Gender locking will always be hotly debated. Well, every time a female hero is released at least. I very rarely see complaints about male gender lock. You only see memes about wanted female Shugo and her big ass and whatnot, you know, very fun. But denying that it plays a not insignificant part in why the character was received so poorly is just deceiving yourself. I might even go so far as that the very concept of the hero for a Western audience of children was bound to fail. She had to have the most fun gameplay to make up for it, which, as we highlighted, she did not. So now you have a character that is hated for the aesthetics and the gameplay, and you can only really fix the one, because the other makes no sense economically. You'll never get her in a state where she'd be loved or even appreciated by the community. So the only viable approach is to make her end up in a state where she's no longer perceived as an issue by the majority of the community. And I think Ubisoft did succeed in that. We have a low damage, high revenge feeding monstrosity that does not work at the highest level. If you enjoy dodge recovery cancels, they can now be found on much better characters that are more fun to play. Well, that's subjective, but still. She is in a spot where she no longer can do any harm. Massive community backlash is bad for these studios. They want to avoid these at all cost. Having to scramble for changes that might make it go away, well, it's stressful and not very productive. Her biggest problems have been fixed now. She doesn't see much play, and the skin was actually received positively. She's among the heroes with the lowest pick rates. According to the chart that a guy from the community does with the help of tracker.gg, she has the third lowest among the cast. So Ubisoft doesn't need to please a lot of people. And I'd say the skin did the trick here for the foreseeable future. Buffing this hero would once again lead to negative feedback from the other part of the community. There are 0 requests for buffs from what I can see. On the contrary, people want more nerfs. The nonsense that I read about potential fixes to the gun, for example, like limited amount of shots per round or a reload mechanic, a lot of dumb shit like that. And because of all that, I don't think we will see buffs for this hero anytime soon, if even at all. It's simply not worth it to stir the pot. Nothing good will come from it, and there is nobody else to blame but the community. It's not Ubi's fault, not the devs that actually implement the changes, nor the producers that might tell them what to do. None of that. It was all a reaction because of the tantrums this community threw when Pirate was released. Now, whether this is actually true, who knows, but it does make sense to me. Feel free to give me your theory on all of this. Pirate needs changes if she's ever going to be balanced. Question is it worth it? You tell me. With that said, hope the video was interesting. Thanks for watching. Laters everybody.